Good morning from Kirkby's kitchen. Today we're going to do pavlova. I thought, owing to the shortage of flour and yeast, we'll do something that doesn't include those. And also I thought we would do individual ones. For this we're going to need 4 eggs, 8 ounces or 225 grams, or for my American friends, 1 cup of caster sugar, a teaspoon of corn flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of vinegar. I shall start by turning the oven on. Mine is a fan oven, so I'm going for 130 degrees fan, or it's gas mark 2, 150 centigrade or 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I hope I've covered all measurements. Now here are the ingredients. Obviously we're going to need egg whites, vinegar, caster sugar, vanilla extract, corn flour. So let's begin. I'm going to separate the egg whites first, and yes, you could do this by hand, but on this occasion I'm going to use my mixer to make it a bit quicker. And a little later on I'll be showing you uses for the egg yolks, because of course we don't want to waste anything. Make sure that you don't get any yolk into the whites, otherwise they're not going to, they won't whisk. The bowl has got to be absolutely spotless, because again they won't whisk up. And the ingredients to be room temperature. So don't take your eggs straight from the fridge, otherwise you'll have a problem whisking them. So there we have 4 egg whites. So I've got the whisk attachment and we're going to turn it up to high speed. Once the egg white is thick, then we'll start adding the corn flour and the sugar. So I can't compete with the noise of the mixers, so what we're going to do, I'm showing you how this egg white should look. And as you've seen on TV before, you can tip it up and it shouldn't slide down. Heaven forbid if it did. So once you've got it to this stage, keep the mixer running and rein in the sugar and the corn flour. Mix it back until it's stiff again, and then we're going to add the vinegar and the vanilla extract and whisk it up again till thick, but I'll show you that at the end so that I'm not trying to compete with the noise of the mixer. Now as you can see, you've got a nice stiff glossy meringue. Knock that off. There's absolutely no reason for you to have to pipe it if you're worried about that. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing it. But first of all, I've got the baking trays lined with silicone. Just pop a little bit of meringue underneath to stick it down. And you can either spoon a blob on, and then we'll make a hollow in them so you can put your filling in. Many moons ago, my mum-in-law used to make meringues, and they would be in the oven overnight, but then Pavlova became trendy, and these take a lot shorter in time to make. And then you can just dip a hollow in them, ready to put the filling in. No artistic ability required here. I think we'll just build up a little wall. So what can be easier than that? And then I'll show you the piped version. That one's a little bit on the small side. We don't want any family members complaining. Pop that. Now for the piped version. We're not going to waste any. We're going to scrape all this meringue out. Right, so squeeze the meringue down. Again, we're going to stick the paper down a little bit. Right, for ease of piping, a lot of people would be tempted to squeeze from there. If you control the bag from the top, it's a lot easier. And then we're going to make a wall. Don't hold the bag too close to the baking tray to give you ease of control. They don't have to be perfect because they'll taste lovely. And my favourite filling for these is Greek yoghurt and fresh raspberries, but of course you'll all have your own favourites. Just get another 2. These will keep in an airtight container so that you've got a ready-made dessert. Will we squeeze another one out? Ugh. Yeah. A baby one, I think. Wouldn't pass on Bake Off for consistency, but they'll taste lovely. What I'm going to do, we'll pop these in for 20 minutes and then I'll rotate them and then do them for another 20 minutes, so 40 minutes in total for a small one. If you wanted to do a big one, then you would bake that for an hour. So these have had 20 minutes and I'm going to rotate them. Oh, they look fab. And then we'll give them another 20 minutes. Timer's just going, so they've had 40 minutes. Take these out of the oven. I'm bound to get some flack for this one. Now we'll let them cool completely, and as you can see they're nice and dry. Can I suggest that if you're filling them with cream, whip the cream until it's just holding, so it's still got a bit of a gloss on it, a little bit sloppy. Put them in the cooled meringue, leave it for about half an hour, let the cream ooze into the meringue, then put the fruit on, and I promise you it'll be heaven on a plate. Following on from Pavlova, we don't want to waste the egg yolks, which I've saved here in a tub. I'm going to show you how to make mayonnaise, but I must point out that this contains raw eggs, so not to be given to pregnant ladies, the elderly, children. The egg yolks could be used for numerous things, eggy bread or French toast being a favourite, fresh custard sauce, there's all sorts of ice cream. I've put the 4 egg yolks in here. This could be made by hand if you've got a bit of muscle. So I've got the 4 egg yolks in the food processor. I'm using this blade. I'm going to put a teaspoon of whole grain mustard in. Teaspoon of sugar, some malt vinegar, or you can use lemon juice, that's a tablespoon of, some salt, I like black pepper in mine. Now here I've got a litre of vegetable oil. Obviously we're not going to use the whole lot. It's dependent on the size of your eggs and how thick you like the mayonnaise as to how much you use. But once I've made this, we can gauge from the bottle how much. So we're going to turn this on. It would be helpful if I turned it on at the wall. Set it running. And this is the important bit. You have to slowly drizzle the oil in. Use a little bit of patience. Keep the motor running and just drizzle it in quite slowly. And once you've had homemade mayonnaise, you'll never want to go back to the stuff in a jar, trust me. You see it's starting to thicken, and once you get experience in making this, you tell by sound as well. In our house, we like it really thick that you can stand the fork up in it. I mean, how thick is this? Now you can see that this is lovely and thick, and you can virtually stand a spoon up in it. This is how we like. You don't have to add as much oil if you don't want it quite so thick. This will keep in the fridge in a jar or a polythene container for about a week, if it would last that long, of course. Used for loads of things. Now, as you can see from this litre bottle, but again, as I said earlier, it depends on the size of the eggs. I would think I've used just less than a quarter of a bottle. But you can be the judge of how thick you want your mayonnaise. And I've got a feeling we'll be having homemade coleslaw on jacket potato tonight. As I said earlier, once you've tried this, you'll never want to go back to the stuff in a jar. So enjoy. So this is the basic mayonnaise recipe, but on the list of ingredients I've put some additions that you can add, which would make it taste even nicer. I've put these into 2 little pots, and what I'm going to do is just pop some paper over them to stop them forming a skin. A few months ago my son rang me up and asked me for the recipe for mayonnaise, which I showed him, and then he sent me a video of our 2 lovely grandchildren who are 6 and 8, and they were making it under supervision, of course. So if they can make it, so can you.